the NEP 2020 in CBSE schools. This session is part of the mandatory sessions called for by the CBSE to sensitize our parents about the salient proposals of this new policy. The first part expected from the CBSE was for all of us principals across India to attend an online briefing. The second part was for the teachers of all schools across India. Now this is being done statewide. The third part is for the sake of our parents' understanding. And it's not only about sensitizing the parents about the NEP, our children are the stakeholders. So whatever new policies, new reforms are going to come into the picture from 2021 onwards, our children at all levels are going to be affected by this. Affected meaning they are going to be positively affected by this policy. A word of caution is that what I'm going to say in the next 10 to 15 minutes are just proposals by the policy. The actual implementation will be given in the form of guidelines from the center, the NCERT, the state SCERT, and the state governments. They will give us guidelines from time to time. So the implementation part is not yet given to the schools. It is not yet shared with the schools. The training of teachers to revamp their thought processes, methodologies, and attitudes towards class students is already taking place. Just before this session started, I was already, you must have heard me checking with the teachers, how is the training going on online, etc. Teachers from all over India, from the CBSE board schools, are undertaking 50 hours of training. Right now it is going on online, but later on, maybe from June or July, we will have some offline sessions also. This is a humongous process. Parents, children, teachers, I hope all of you understand. We have more than 330 million students. Numbers are rounded up. This is almost like the population of USA. Just the student population in our country, okay? 15 lakh schools, 1,000 universities, 45,000 degree colleges. So please understand that all the changes that the NEP proposes, they will not be possible to see the results in a couple of years, but at least 15 to 20 years will pass. And the positive results will be seen when our current babies, that is our nursery students, they go through the entire revamped process. So maybe after 13 years and then 4 years of college, and then we may see the output, whatever are the outcomes. And at that stage, I hope that India will truly be a global knowledge superpower. That is the final aim of this policy. We have already proved ourselves to be very, very scientifically inclined, and we have shown our manufacturing prowess in the form of the COVID vaccines. Okay, so let us now also become a global knowledge superpower. The NEP policy was approved by the Union Cabinet of India in July 2020, and it outlines the vision of India's new education system. Now this policy replaces the previous policy, that is NPE, National Policy on Education 1986. So after 34 years, our policymakers, our administrators have come up with some new plan. The policy is a comprehensive framework for elementary education to higher education, as well as vocational training in both rural and urban India. Shortly after the release of the policy, now please listen, the government clarified that no one will be forced to study any particular language, and that the medium of instruction will not be shifted from English to any regional language. That is, if you have already enrolled your child in an English medium school, the medium of instruction will remain English and not the state language. As there was some misrepresentation, and some parents, teachers, everybody thought otherwise, that we will have to change our medium of instruction. The language policy in NEP is a broad guideline. It is an advisory, and it is up to the states, institutions, and schools to decide on the implementation. We all know, students, you have studied in your political science that education in India is on the concurrent list. It means we also have to abide by the concerned state's regulations. In our case, we have the Government of Maharashtra regulations. All right. I have many slides, but I'm just going to give you the gist of each slide. We have to develop an education system deeply rooted in the Indian ethos. The curriculum and pedagogy must develop a sense of respect towards fundamental duties and Constitution of India. I want to stress this fundamental duties, as I always stress, even when I speak on 26th of January during the Republic Day. All of us are very well aware of our rights, but very few of us know what our duties are, and that we have to uh, that we have to follow the duties. We have to perform our duties and not only demand about our rights. Okay, develop a sense of pride and respect for the country and be responsible for human rights sustainable development. This is a very important point, sustainable development. In standard 8 geography also, right from the first lesson on resources, we are seeing how we can have sustainable plans for utilizing our resources such that they will be sustainable in nature. We don't want to finish off everything for our generation. We want to keep it for the future generations. So whatever education we are giving to our children, we do not want it to be just temporary, just for the sake of writing the exams. All right, we want it to be sustainable. I'm just going to read the headings of all these principles. Respect for diversity, equity and inclusion. We always, at Pawar Public School, we believe in having an inclusive policy, no child left behind, whether it is for sports, for annual days or for whichever events. All right, everybody should get an equal opportunity. Community participation, the third point there, it is very important because usually the mentality of a lot of people is we enroll our child in a school, in a so-called good school, and then we forget for the next 13 years. School will take care of everything, whether it is completion of homework or teaching, learning, everything school will do for the child. But now this policy emphasizes on community participation. Parents can take part in the teaching learning process. A lot of retired citizens of our country who have a lot of expertise, they will also be involved in teaching some skills to the students. So a lot of community will be involved, and that will make the entire experience very rich. Use of technology, everybody since the COVID era, all of us know the importance of this. This point here emphasize conceptual understanding rather than rote learning. This has to be borne in mind, my dear children, and also my dear parents, because all these over the years we have just been asking the teachers, please give the portion for the exam. Is this coming for the exam? How many marks this chapter will be asked on? How many marks question for chapter number 5? So that is almost like rote learning, just answer studying for the sake of giving exams. We have to change our attitude now towards the entire process. Please do not go through this rote learning process ever again. Children, even when you all are studying for the forthcoming board exams or 9th standard children are studying for the school exams, see that you understand your concept. And next year also, if somebody asks you, okay, you learned this in 9th standard, if your maths teacher asks you, don't say, ma'am, we have forgotten that after the exams. The next point is unique capabilities. We believe, and everybody believes, and I'm sure the government believes, that every child is important and unique, and each one has some different talent. So we have to hone the skills and the aptitudes that the children have and not force them to do something that they don't want to do. Just because everybody is going for computer science, engineering or whatever, BCA, MCA and all, everybody need not do that. They can take up arts related, humanities related subjects, they can take up dramatics. The whole world is there, is open for them. Critical thinking, creativity, continuous assessment, all these will be very much integral to the NEP. This slide talks about, this is just to brief you about, the new pedagogical structure. it will be 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Okay, this particular tower. All these days, especially in the local government schools, there was no pre-primary learning. All the Anganwadis and preschools, that is what we have in private schools, what we call as nursery, junior KG and senior KG, is non-existent in the government schools. Now the government wants to bring this age group, 3 years, 4 years and 5 years, in the main school curriculum. For that they need to train a lot of teachers via ECCE programs, that is early childhood education programs. And this number 5, it means 3 years of pre-primary and standard 1 and standard 2. So it will go up to age 8 years, right, from 3 years to 8 years. And what is going to happen is the RTE Act, which talks about age group 6 years to 14 years. It will now cover the age group 3 years to 14 years. So many more children in our country, the children who have no access to pre-primary education will now be covered here in the schools. Okay, and there will be specially trained teachers to take care of them. Foundational education, numerical literacy and reading literacy, okay, that will be covered, that will be taken care of over here. The next group is 3, that is standard 3 to standard 5, which we all know, but we do not call it as preparatory. We call it as primary school. Now they are calling it as preparatory. And we have middle school from standard 6 to 8, and then the secondary school. Now 11th and 12th is usually called as senior secondary, but now we will call it as secondary school. The current academic structure is just 10 plus 2. 10 years means all the SSC boards, everybody knows, they work from standard 1 to standard 10, and then there are 2 years of junior college, first year junior college and second year junior college. Now at the secondary stage, I'm emphasizing on this because we are 9th and 10th standard students here. There will be a emphasis on critical thinking, multidisciplinary study, and student choice of subjects. So there will be many more subjects that schools can offer when this policy comes into the picture, when we are actually implementing this policy. So we need not stick to the traditional subjects of PCM or PCMB and all that. We can have a choice. If somebody likes painting, they can take painting, and that subject painting will be reported in the final report sheet that this child was interested, has shown proficiency in this subject, etc., whatever is the teacher's observation. So there will be a lot of flexibility in choice of subjects. And in the middle stage, of course, there will be experiential learning. We had already implemented experiential learning in the form of Exceed program in our school, and we will just take it forward. Of course, there will be a lot of teacher training at stake. We hope that the future students who are now still in the 5th, 6th, 7th standard, 7th standard in that stage, they will have less of rote learning, less of textbooks to read from, and there will be a lot of critical thinking and experiential learning happening. The curriculum will be reduced, but please, everybody, teachers, students, parents, please don't take this policy wrong. They are not recommending that we become lazy and laid back. Everybody has to continue to work hard, to work smartly. Only thing, there's a slight change in the approaches, and whatever stress our students are undergoing right now, because a lot of homework is given. Last year some students used to tell me we are under tension because so many teachers are giving us so much homework. Afterwards, of course, I reasoned out with them that homework is not to be done in one day. But anyway, that stress is always there with our children. So we hope that that stress will be reduced. This point, promoting sport integrated and art integrated learning in classrooms for holistic development. I think all you parents and students know better than I can say that our art integrated project of Odisha, which was given by the CBSE, was a great success, and we could incorporate EVS, history, geography, political sciences, handicrafts, dance, music, of course art and painting was very much there in this huge humongous project that the central CBSE had assigned to us. And all the teachers, all the students were very happy to complete this project in the classrooms. Okay, and I'm sure that when we get used to more and more of such projects, we will start enjoying them more and more. We will start imbibing a lot more than what we are doing right now from just reading textbooks and answering the exams by rote learning. Okay, so it will lead to an overall holistic development of the child. And sport integration, of course, has to be there. Nobody can question the importance of sports in our day-to-day life, especially during this pandemic. And I hope our 9th standard and 10th standard children have made the most of the sports classes that were arranged for you in the evenings. We were one of the very few schools who had sports teachers on board. We did not chuck them out from our roll calls, and they were taking sports programs effectively. I hope children have made use of this facility given to you by the school. Just some of the skills. I think everybody is familiar with this jargon now. Only thing now we have to implement this. Collaboration. I'm happy to note that our children have become very good in collaborating with one another during this pandemic. They are well versed in all the online tools they could use for making beautiful videos. They have developed digital literacy definitely right from our senior KG or junior KG students up to 10th standard. There's a lot of digital literacy. In this sense, some of the educationists, they feel that this pandemic was a boon for this part, digital literacy. Of course, we have to make note of the thousands of people who have lost their lives or, are suffering because of the pandemic. But that is a different topic for discussion. Problem solving is very, very important. All these years, I'm so sad to note that our children, parents, everybody they have been looking for answers. I want answer to question 2, I want answer to question 4. That chapter answers have not been given by the teachers. Instead of getting the children to answer their own questions, to find out answers from the books or from by other means from the library books, all our parents have done is just to seek ready-made stuff. Okay, I hope now this attitude will change now. Communication, critical thinking, creativity, all this is will be part of the teaching learning process. See, health and fitness is very much part of the 21st century skills. Everybody knows how lives have been affected because of low immune responses, or because we were just not looking after our diet or our exercise patterns, our fitness levels. And I'm happy to note that during the pandemic, at least many people have realized that they need to look at this very, very important 21st century skill. Social responsibility, I think our children have got enough exposure to this. Ethical behavior, very important. We will see now if the children are going to answer the exams from the homes. Ethical behavior, whether ethics are being practiced or no, will be observed by us. And development of a scientific temper. Contemporary subjects like artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, everybody knows about this. What people do not understand is holistic health, organic living, design thinking. See, everybody need not be engineers and or take up science and computer sciences and mathematics and all to do something in these subjects: data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning. There are other children who may not understand or who may not have aptitude for these. So for them, organic living, holistic health is there, design thinking is there. This could be taken up by anybody. It's not that you have to have an aptitude for engineering or have an aptitude for law or medicine or something like that. All of us have to be design thinkers eventually. there is something about introducing vocational crafts like carpentry, electric work, metal work, gardening and all, and this will be done in grade 6 to 8, and children will also get an opportunity to visit some of these places where carpentry is practiced or metal work is practiced, pottery making. You know, if children have an inclination, if they are a little bit of artistic inclination and they practice pottery making, they can make it into, not only they can have it as a hobby, but they can make it into a career. They can have international exhibitions. I mean, your thinking has to go to that stage. Metal work, India has been from times immemorial. We have had metal work in historical records are there where metals of all types, amalgamations were used by ancient Indians. Carpentry, we have excellent artisans in our country, and the history teachers, I'm sure all of you have already taught the children, and they know that local artisans were there before the advent of the colonial powers, and only after the colonial powers and the industrial revolution, that, you know, all our local art and craft, they were a little bit subdued. But now, because of the government of India's Khadi and Village Industries Commission and so many NGOs coming up to promote all these local arts, these skills are also gaining a lot of importance. So states and local communities can give us guidelines for this. Mathematics and computational thinking will of course be important because of artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, but coding, this is very much in vogue these days. So many parents have enrolled their children for various coding classes. So we will see, we will take one step at a time. Everybody need not become proficient in coding. If people don't want to do coding, they can do something else. Bagless days. Okay, this is one good point that NEP has proposed. 10-day bagless period when the grade 6 to 8 students can visit local artists, etc., and observe their trade or even practice their trade. And then internship opportunities. This is something new because these aspects we see in other countries, in European countries, America, USA or Canada and all, that children get to do internships at a very basic level when they are in the schools. So let us see how our children who are currently in the middle school or primary school can get such opportunities. And we hope that by 2025, at least 50% learners would have got exposure to some amount of vocational education, which is missing badly in the current scenario. Knowledge of India is something that our government very much has laid an emphasis on, and we want our children to learn about all our ancient traditions, practices, what we how we had progressed in the terms of health, caring for the environment. We have always maintained Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Okay, so our Indian knowledge systems were also in practice even in the very ancient days or olden days. It is only later on, after the colonial rule, that our pattern of education changed. Of course, the current pattern has given access to many more children of our country, and the new policy will encourage many more children, especially with the RTE already in force. Many more children will be under the umbrella of the education hub. Health education, basic training in health will be part of the NEP, and everybody in the school, they will not treat this, see, health education right now is part of the PE, physical education program, HPE, health and physical education, but this is just treated as a sidey kind of subject to, you know, say very colloquially. Nobody takes it seriously. Even schools, I'm sorry to say, they don't take it so seriously. In our school, we are quite serious about it, and we have structured classes for preventive health, mental health. Probably this year, because of online training and all that, we have not been able to devote a lot of time for this, but otherwise we have always had structured class for this health education aspect. The last point is very important for our children, especially in the teenage age group: alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. The effects of this, because at this age group there's a lot of peer pressure, and although children know that suppose their friends tell them to come and try some drugs or alcohol, some of the children are aware that they should not do it, but they don't want to be a subject of talk that, you know, so and so, this girl or this boy is not interested in drugs and all. There's a lot of peer pressure, or that boy is too goody goody, he's not coming and joining our gang. So such kind of peer pressure is there, and our children don't want to be subject to this, so then they give in to the temptation. But I hope so that we can succeed in imbibing in the minds of our children, you know, what are the extreme effects of all these activities, indulging in alcohol and tobacco and drugs and all that. The report card will be a new report card. Okay, it will not be filled with marks and grades. There will be continuous assessment. There's scope for self-assessment and peer assessment. Teachers and parents and children also, I hope all of you remember that we had given an activity, tidy up your home. Okay, a 21-day challenge kind of to tidy up your home. And later on, I had written in that notice that parents, you please assess, you do a self-assessment of your homes of your children and send the grades to the teachers, and these very same grades will be incorporated into the final report card. So this the new policy also encompasses something of this kind. Okay, self-assessment not only for behavioral activities, but also for actual subject related contents. So if you do a maths paper, you correct it when you get the answers from your teachers, and then you give your own marks. All right. The school examinations will be used only for development purposes. Okay. And they will not be used to actually label a child. And it will be used for the continuous monitoring and improvement of the schooling system. So this is a 360-degree turn, in the sense, if a particular school, the children of a particular school do not fare well in some public exam, the school will be under assessment, that are the teachers teaching properly, or is the content being delivered properly, or do the teachers need some more kind of training. The children are not going to be judged, but the teachers and the school is going to be judged. So that is a welcome change, I would say. Now to implement all these governmental policies, we need really trained teachers. I'm blessed as a principal of PPSNC. I would say that I am blessed to have a wonderful team of teachers. But nevertheless, we need to change our attitudes also towards education, and the new generation, the new population, some of whom may have ambitions of becoming a teacher. For them, the government will introduce a 4-year integrated B.Ed course. So that will be implemented after grade 12. Okay, at grade 12 itself, the students can decide if they want to take up this 4-year B.Ed course, at the end of which they will be eligible after giving a TET, Teachers Eligibility Test. They can apply to government schools and to other private schools. And we have a whole population in this category actually, that many of our men and women are already bachelors. They have the 3-year conventional BA, BSc, BCom, BCA degrees. So then they can continue with the 2-year B.Ed course, and those who are already having a master's degree, they can take up this 1-year B.Ed course, and then they can become teachers. And the NEP aims to support teachers through all phases of their tenure, whether it is helping them to prepare to become a teacher, how they will be fruitfully employed, because finally everybody wants a proper job, and there will be scope for professional development. In fact, it's a continuous professional development CPD plan that the CBSE has given to all the schools. CPD, that is continuous professional development of all our teachers. Dinesh, is there some problem with the sound? No, I think so because I got some background noise. Okay. So, this assessment at class 3, 5 and 8, this is not final. This is being taken up by the government of Himachal Pradesh. So these students in standard 3, 5 and 8, the current students, they will be given a exam to assess them so that the teachers can make a holistic report card without being judgmental about marks. A whole lot of test items, 500 competency based test items are being prepared for classes 1 to 5. Training of paper setters and moderators is going on to standardize question papers. So there will, in the beginning, there will be 10% higher order thinking skills based questions. Later on, we hope that the students will be able to tackle more and more of such hot kind of questions, and not only questions which just requires rote learning. Okay, so let us see if we can bring this number up to 60%. 60% of application based analytical questions. And then the assessment manual will be prepared for schools. At the university level, the universities can opt for offering 4-year degree courses or 3-year degree courses. Now what happens in our country is many of the children, the students, they join the first year of university, somehow they manage to pay the fees, but later on because of family pressures or whatever, the poor children are forced to leave college and take up jobs, take up work, because they have to earn for the family. Either there's a death of a parent in the family, or just that the economics will not permit them to study further. So for such student dropouts, for whatever reasons, if they complete 1 year of college, they will get a certificate. That 1 year will not be wasted. If they complete 2 years, at least they will get a diploma, so that some employers can consider ki, okay, this student has a 2-year diploma, he's armed with a 2-year diploma, and I can offer him this kind of job which requires his skill sets. If they complete 3 years, it will be the traditional degree. The 4 years, this 4th year is an additional year of research. So after this, if the student wants to take up a PhD program without going through MPhil, because the MPhil degree will be cancelled, then they can opt for PhD programs directly also. After doing this research program, which will be offered by various universities for various subjects. And one good news is humanities and commerce subjects will be offered by IITs and other institutes of repute. Right now, very few institutes like the IITs or the NITs, they offer humanities and commerce. But then later on, these institutes also will start offering humanities and commerce. And Deepali Joshi ma'am, I hope you can brief your class parents later on about the IIT Chennai Humanities Program. All right. By 2040, UGC, AICTE and other regulatory bodies will be under one umbrella. There will be a common testing agency, that is the NTA, National Testing Agency, will be responsible for conducting all the entrance exams which will be needed for getting admissions to all these universities, colleges, IITs, whichever institute. Only the law and the medical faculties will be different. Some other agencies will be responsible for conducting those exams. I think by now everybody knows that the Ministry of Human Resources Development is now named as Ministry of Education, and the Honorable Minister Mr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank is our current Minister of Education. That's so much, that's whatever I have to convey to you about the NEP 2020 as required by the CBSE, and it's not only because CBSE has made it mandatory. I would, as a principal, I would really like all of you parents, teachers, students to understand that we are in for a revolution, an educational revolution, and all of us will be part of this revolution. So I hope that we can maximize the benefits for us and for the community at large by being very proactive in this new educational policy. Thank you. Parents, Dinesh, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So if teachers want to add anything, whether it is about NEP or about the 10th and 9th standard exams, the formal written exams, or about practical exams, you can do so now. And then for 5 minutes, we will have parents question answers. Questions from parents if they are pertinent and relevant. So, 10th standard class teachers first, Dinesh, sir. Or if you want to give any instructions right now about the practical exams or about the written exams, you can do so now. Or your WhatsApp groups are very active and very functional. So we'll leave it to those WhatsApp groups. Okay. Looks like right now nobody wants to ask, none of the teachers also want to ask any questions or convey anything as such to the students, because a lot of instructions have already been given. And anyway, as I said, we will have to wait till 26 February if prelim 1 will be taken in the school or will be taken at home. All right. But anyway, let me convey to the parents that in each class we will have just 12 students seated. Okay. And our exam hall is also huge. So we will take care of the social distancing part of the COVID guidelines. And of course, children have to wear masks and come to school. They have to use sanitizers. At the entrance, there is a thermometer and the oxygen meter. And also, students, if you are listening, and the parents, please ensure that the students reach home after the exams, soon after the exams, and they don't wait around the corner and chat and talk. And there's very less social distancing happening there. And these are really very crucial times. We do not want to endanger anybody's life by contracting COVID. We don't want to transmit COVID, and neither we want to contract it from somebody else. All right. So parents, if you want to say something, especially the PTA members, if you want to say something pertinent to this particular session that we had for you, please ask your questions.
Okay, this is regarding the offline exam for 9th and 10th, right?
Yes.
School is going to make any arrangement for the transportation? How are the students are going to come in?
Right now, we cannot make any transport arrangements just because it is not safe. Okay, it is not going to be safe to bring children from all localities to the school where inside the school bus we will not be able to monitor the children for social distancing and all that. So right now at least we have, and it's a question of 5 days only, sir. It's just 5 papers. So if you could if parents could volunteer and bring just 2 children in a car, because in the car also we do not want overcrowding. So if you can have the main parent driver and 2 children from your neighborhood or something like that, then it will be really very good. See, this is the part where you can do a lot of cooperative and collaborative work. So if you want to come to the school and if transport is at stake, because we also understand that some of you have also already started going outside of your homes to work and all. But let us see if anything comes up for 9th standard, because 9th standard exams are on 10th of March. So if anything comes up till then, or if the state government says that, okay, now the state government is getting ready for a lockdown, so forget about having school transport. but we will keep you informed, because we also wish that parents are not uncomfortable in sending the children to school just because they don't have access to transport. So we understand that it's a big question mark for us also.
Yeah,
Okay.
because yesterday, the Pune Corporation mayor has, mentioned that, there are COVID cases are increasing in, especially in Sinhagad Road, right? So if you
Okay.
look at,
So
the
that is
pit,
why
yes,
that is the same point, that we are not forcing, and we have not even finalized whether we will call the children to the school. I just told you about what CBSE has notified to us, but again states and schools have to take their own call. So, if cases are increasing, today I think there were 450. The last number I read was 450 cases in Pune city. But I also have the breakup of all the various Pet areas, Kothurud area, Sinhagad Road area, and all. So, let us see. Maybe we will have them offline. But it is the parents' responsibility to see that ethical practices are used. It is for the children's good, because these marks will not be counted anywhere. The children will have their own assessment, whether I can write a paper or I cannot write a paper, or I have to do something more, I have to work a little more so that I can write a paper in the final exams, especially 10th standard. And
okay, thanks.
our 9th standard teachers are telling me that 9th standard children are not at all serious about attending classes, about answering the teacher when he or she they are asking them questions. This is not a complaint, but we understand that children are also really very bored. Some of them say that we are frustrated, we just want to come to the school as soon as possible. And that is why they are not paying attention to the online classes. But then now, what to say, we have to be patient about the entire COVID scenario, about starting of school scenario. We have to be patient. We have held on for 12 months almost now, maybe another 4 months, and then the picture will be really good and clean. Okay.
Good evening,
Any
ma'am.
more parents
Okay,
want to
thanks, ma'am.
ask?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, considering a batch of 2021 who are in the 9th standard
Ha.
or in the 10th standard, how your new education policy is going to affect them?
The current 9th standard, you mean to say?
Current 9th standard?
Yes, current 9th standard. Yes.
Yeah.
See, the current 9th standard will go through the same board exam next year when they are in the 10th standard.
Okay.
Because this policy is not going to be implemented for current 9th and 10th standard students. Okay, so probably when they go to the universities after going through +2, there they may have a greater choice of subjects, or the entrance exams, board exam, the entrance exam patterns for entry into universities, colleges, professional courses, they may
Okay.
change at that time. But as I
Okay.
said, we have some 45,000 colleges and 1,000 universities. So I don't I don't want to make wild guesses, but all in all, the current 9th standard children also will go through the same routine as 2-3 years senior children are going through.
That's
Again,
fair
wait and
enough.
watch, because they have not given us the implementation plan. They are
Okay.
making plans for the next 5 years, 10 years, up to 2040.
Okay.
So let us wait and watch what are the guidelines for current 9th.
Did you get the plan for next 5 years at least?
No, not for the next 5 years. Like,
Not even for the
how
next
the
5 years.
states are going to implement, that is not clear. Because the states also have to give us the guidelines. For example, if it is 9th, 10th and 11th and 12th in the school, okay, how will schools manage those grade 11 and grade 12 classes is not clear, because we need permissions for that. We need permissions from the state board, then we need permissions by the CBSE board. For example, if we are a CBSE school, we need to get the affiliation for 11th and 12th from CBSE also.
And more important is you should have an infrastructure also for that.
Infrastructure also
and right now every school doesn't have an infrastructure.
Oh, so that is what the actual implementation part, that is not clear. State governments also have to take active part.
So whatever we discuss now for half an hour, it doesn't apply to the 9th and 10th.
It doesn't apply directly for the next 2-3 years, sir.
Exactly.
For the next 2-3 years, but as citizens of our country and as parents of our children, some of the parents may have siblings who are in the younger classes. Okay, this program has to be rolled out for the entire school. And in fact, just for your information, teachers also, the Pune Sahoday, which is a conglomeration of all the CBSE affiliated schools, we are going to roll out this program for all the schools, for all the parents very shortly, I think on 6th of March or so, and is going to be shown on the YouTube and Facebook live streaming, so that there will be many more participants. And the Mumbai Sahoday principals are also going to take part in this. And it is the CBSE vision and the vision of the Center for Excellence Pune. There's a new person appointed, there's a new IAS officer who has been appointed specially for taking NEP to the parent community, irrespective of whether nursery or 12th standard. That is why we have organized this session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I have one suggestion, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm Nilesh Uke.
Yes,
I'm looking at this 10th standard, and I think they haven't met for even a single day. And this 10th standard will never return back in their life. And maybe after the examination.
Sir, we are to come back to the school next year. Our former batches, our first 2 batch children, they always visit us and they are in touch with the teachers. Sorry to interrupt. You continue.
I just want to make a suggestion that after the exam, just arrange a half an hour get together, let them come together, at least see their faces, and let them depart. By that time, I think this gray area will be over.
So yes, the gray areas. Yes, it's a point noted, sir. All the teachers and everybody we will remember. We hope that we are in safe waters after the exams. The exams get over on 27th of May.
Yeah.
So let us plan after that something. We also would like to see and meet all the children in person.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So I think if there's not much of discussion happening, Sangeeta ma'am.
And just the study leave for standard 10. Study leave for standard 10. They will have classes till Wednesday, and from Thursday they will have study leave.
Yes. So next week online classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for 10th standard, and Thursday, Friday will be study leave, so that on Monday they can start writing the exams. Okay, and Sangeeta ma'am, Dinesh sir, Vaishali ma'am, Carol ma'am, we will let them know by Wednesday evening itself whether they should come to take the answers, blank answer papers. Sure. Okay, and see if people do not want to come to school to take the answer sheets, they can write on Fullscape sheets from home also. We have allowed that last time also, and this time also they can write on the home stationery and return back on the last day of the paper. All right. Yes, and see if there is any COVID patient in the family, please don't return the answer scripts. Please talk to the teacher. There is nothing to hide in that. We will understand that you are unable to send back the answer papers. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Sangeeta ma'am, will you just say a formal thank you?
Okay. Yeah, ma'am. Good evening once again, Principal ma'am, parents and my dear teachers. On behalf of Pawar Public School, Nanded City, I would like to thank our Principal ma'am for giving us the insights of our upcoming assessments and the details and of the benefits and upcoming new education policy. Surely, ma'am, we will make a new superpower, as you said. I would like to thank my dear parents for attending this meeting, and with the hope to meet our students shortly and complete our task successfully for this academic year, whether it is online or offline, in upcoming days. Thank you, Dinesh sir, for all your technical help as ever. With this, I would like to end this meeting and request Principal Ma'am, Dinesh sir and Priya Ma'am to stay, and request others from you, with your permission, ma'am, to leave the meeting. And thank you all of you again for attending the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
थँक्यू बोलले होते काय बोलली
काय बोल ए
Even other students and teachers can leave. There's still some more students. They want to be in our meeting. I'll start removing them then, or else.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Better.
Is Priya ma'am also left? Looks like she was there.
Actually, she has gone for her bringing her car. She has given it for servicing.
Okay,
She wrote me that. But I don't know. I was not sure whether she can join online from the, like, you know, I don't know whether she has
Okay.
the Teams on her mobile. So I am not sure.
Okay, yeah, I've removed all of them. Ma'am,
Yes.
this is like some teachers still want more classes to complete the syllabus. So next ma'am, your mic is off.
Which standard?
Ma'am, 8th also 6th, 7th, and 8th, especially. So next Saturday, not this one, the next Saturday and next 2 Saturdays, can we have a regular timetable for them? Because
But I would say you have it on Saturday, but also decrease a little bit of syllabus, no? Decrease it.
decrease. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Decrease the syllabus.
Okay.
Because, you know, more than teaching something new, they should revise now. They can have on Saturday, but just tell them to decrease. Even maths and all is okay. Because in April, they can always do some maths
Yes.
concepts, which are needed.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, we'll convey to all
Especially
those.
history, Sangeeta ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
There's a lot in 8th standard.
Yes.
also, maybe.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So then you can just decrease because every time children are asking me for